You are partnering with almost every industry right now, and one of the biggest customers you're looking at is also the U.S. government. And earlier in the year, we'd heard reports that employees inside of Microsoft felt a little uncomfortable using, let's say, a HoloLens to, in their words, develop weapons. We know there's a big contract coming up, and reports are saying Azure and AWS are in the running. Is there anything that the government would ask of you that would make you feel uncomfortable and say, this is not a deal I want to sign?
I mean, first of all, we are very, very clear on two things. One is that we are absolutely going to partner and serve our government and its agencies, because after all, in our democracy, we've elected them to protect the freedoms we all as citizens enjoy. So that's sort of at the core. And the second thing is, we have a set of ethical principles, and so does our government. If anything, and the democratic process will ensure that those ethical principles are kept top of mind. So we really rely as both a corporate citizen as well as citizens in this country to be able to make sure that we never cross any line as a nation or as a company or as an individual.
Now, politically speaking, a lot of people feel the government has been reaching into areas like the private sector like never before, and some of that means limiting the way that businesses here in the U.S. deal with the outside world and companies from other countries. If the U.S. were to restrict even further sanctions or limitations on Chinese companies, does that impact Microsoft's business in any way?
I mean, we're a multinational company. We're at the same time an American-based multinational company, so therefore we're subject to American laws and the laws of the United States. But that said, I think one of the things that we are very clear on is that we should not conflate too many things. There is trust in technology, which broadly needs to be there. And then there are trade issues that are political issues between countries that need to get resolved. In time, I think each country is going to obviously put their own country's interests first, and we recognize that when we operate in every country, whether it's in the US or in the UK, in China or in Japan. We as a multinational company are fundamentally responsible for ensuring that we are creating surplus in all those communities and countries. And so that's what we'll stay focused on, and we'll let this all play out.
I think what's fascinating is, when you joined Microsoft, it was sort of in the infancy of its growth into the size that it is today. It was almost like tech then was a one-size-fits-all, and now that these regulations are coming left and right from different parts of the world, each country has its own opinion on what regulation should look like and how every company should be treated. How do you manage and run a company when it seems to be like a broken mirror of these types of reflections of what you are doing?
I mean, first of all, I think as technology has become more important and more pervasive in our lives and in our sort of societies across all sectors, it's a given that there is going to be more scrutiny and a look at us as an industry, and we have to mature. If anything, as Microsoft, I sort of say always that, look, let's meet the real world needs of our customers and the countries and communities you serve in. And so therefore we can't just simplify the world just because it's convenient for us. The world will expect us to meet them where they are versus us sort of trying to change that. And I'm okay with that. I think it's natural part of growth, both for us as a company and us as an industry.
So you're okay with regulation, you support it, and will it break anything ultimately?
I mean, always anything that is over-regulated could have its own unintended consequences. But at the same time, let's say, are there regulations that ensure consumer safety? Or environmental issues, and those are all good things. So I would say, let's just be okay and trust that the overall ability for regulators to come up with systems that protect the broader society is something that we should, not shy away from.
Azure's been a driving force for your business these last couple of years. AI seems to be the next thing, and you just announced a $1 billion investment into OpenAI, into this idea of artificial general intelligence. What don't we know yet about AI that maybe if we look back, 20 years from now, maybe we should have done something differently?
I think fundamentally I look at it and say it's clear that on a secular basis we are going to have more and more capable AI. The thing that's exciting to see in our case is these multimodal, unsupervised language models themselves and the kinds of breakthroughs they can create. Or, for example, you and I were talking even before on, wow, if somebody has dyslexia and they can start reading because we are able to bring together AI technology that spaces the words appropriately so that you can read. Or just with eye gaze technology, if someone with ALS can start communicating. These are pretty amazing breakthroughs where people who today are not perhaps fully participating in our economy are able to participate because of AI. But that at the same time also means that there are unintended consequences. So I always say, let's start with a set of ethical design principles, right, which we as creators of AI need to have. Take bias. One of the things is in a language model, if it trains on human language, it's going to pick up the inherent bias. So let's improve the state of the art of how do we de-bias a language model. So that's some of the work that we are doing. So I think as AI develops, let's not just celebrate what AI can do. We should also really ask ourselves, what should AI do, and have the tooling and the engineering process around it.
And to open it up for everybody to be able to participate in what that future looks like.
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a way we can even think about AI as being more inclusive, right? Which is the human should always be in the loop. What that means in terms of being in the loop will change in definition. But we can absolutely design such that AI is helping us as human beings individually and humanity on its whole really get the next level of gains.
And speaking of the future, what about your future? I mean, the past 5 years have truly cemented your legacy here. Is there a plan for CEO number 4?
For now, I'm very, very focused on really, it's a real privilege, personally speaking, to have a chance to come in every day and work at a company like this and do what I get to do with all the people at this company and our partners and our customers. And as I said, the thing that perhaps gives me the most satisfaction, I've spent 27 years at Microsoft, is to see the sense of purpose and mission in action in every community I visit. And that's what gives me energy, and I'm here to work on that.
Well, it's been a privilege for me as well to be able to sit down with you today, Satya. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure.